Everyone, I'm Laura Dorsey, and I'm with Infinite Scholars. Infinite Scholars does one thing, and we do one thing well. We help send high school students to college. We do this with our network of over 400 colleges and universities that help us out with this endeavor. One of the things that we do is that we facilitate scholarship fairs across the country in 27 cities across the country. Whenever we actually have a scholarship fair, between 50 and 100 of our premier partners are always at the scholarship fair. One of our premier partners that attends our scholarship fairs with us is Eastern Michigan University. Let me tell you just a little bit about Eastern Michigan University, and he will be here today to help us talk a little bit about it. Eastern Michigan University, EMU, is a public research university in Ypsilanti, Michigan, about 45 minutes from the city limits of Detroit. EMU has a total student enrollment of 23,000 students. There are more than 200 majors and minors at the undergraduate level and more than 170 graduate programs. To give us all the detailed information that we need to know about EMU is Clarissa Russell. Clarissa has worked in the Office of Admissions at Eastern Michigan University as a manager for regional admissions for the past 13 years. As an alum of EMU and Florida A&M University, she provides students with her personal experience as a student at two very different universities, as well as professional staff. Clarissa is a road warrior who is primarily responsible for Ohio and Indiana students, but recently acquired working with students from every state that is not Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Illinois. That covers all of us. Clarissa, thank you so much for being with us today and providing our students and parents with information about Eastern Michigan University.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm going to start first with a short video and proceed from there. So our university is located, as was shared by Dr. Dorsey, in Ypsilanti, Michigan. We have approximately 17,000 undergraduate students with about 200 undergraduate majors and minors. We have over 200 student organizations, 10 residence halls. We represent 83 different countries, as well as all 50 of the states. And as you learned in my introduction, I work with most of the students that are not from the state of Michigan and or Illinois or Pennsylvania. So it pretty much encompasses all of you. Our university primarily has our students from Michigan, but we have a really strong population of students that are from Ohio because we offer in-state tuition starting in 1978. The reciprocity program grew so well that in the fall of 2010, we decided to actually expand that to all students over the US. So there are no out-of-state fees for our university coming in from any of the other states. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in the future. We also have a really strong international population, as well as a diverse population of students from different backgrounds, ethnicities, and cultures. As we shared earlier, we're about 45 minutes west of Detroit. We are about 45 minutes north of Toledo. We're 1 mile outside of Ann Arbor. It's the same exit off of 23 to reach our campuses. You make a right for Eastern Michigan, a left for the university that is in Ann Arbor. We are about 4 hours away from Mackinac Island if you have interest in any sports activities or events. And we're also not far from Lake Michigan. So as I shared earlier, we have over 200 majors and minors that are all umbrellaed by our 5 academic colleges. Our College of Arts and Science is our largest college, which not only has a number of programs that we offer, but it also feeds the other colleges that we offer as well, such as our College of Business, which for the last 15 years has been the top 10% of all colleges of business in the United States. Our College of Health and Human Services, which includes programs like social work, occupational therapy, and nursing, which have nearly 100% job placement as a result of completing those programs. We also have our College of Engineering and Technology. If you have interest in being a future aviator, we do have 5 miles away from our campus, Willow Run Airport, which does teach students how to fly, manage airports, as well as work on them. We also have very strong programs in our engineering, or electrical, computer, supply chain management, information assurance, and cybersecurity under our College of Technology. As I shared earlier, we're 45 minutes west of Detroit, which is also home to Ford, GM, and Chrysler. And many of our students get amazing internships, externships, and co-ops with the big 3 in the auto industry. We also have our College of Education, which is how we were founded. So while we have a lot of amazing programs, education is the #1 program for how we were started, and then we evolved into a lot of the other amazing things that we do. Special education is the 3rd established program in the country. So many students who have interest in those particular fields give us a second look. We also have a number of pre-professional programs that range from architecture, dentistry, law, medicine, mortuary science, and pharmacy. 80% of the students that complete our pre-professional programs are actually admitted to the graduate school that they are seeking. So we do prepare our students very well at the undergraduate level. This kind of gives you a little bit of a snapshot of our campus. This is Roosevelt Hall. When I come back onto the screen, you'll get a chance to see me as well with the background and aerial background view of our campus. Life on campus. What's it like to live in Ypsilanti, Michigan? We have a number of sports teams. We've got 18 Division I sports teams that are all in the NCAA MAC conference. We have a number of support services to assist students that are looking for academic support. Those of us who excel academically and those of us who know we need a little bit more tutoring or one-on-one instruction, we do offer those services for our students. Cost. Cost is one of the #1 reasons why a lot of students will give us a second look. We've, as I shared, offered in-state tuition for Ohio residents since 1978 in a reciprocity agreement. And we've now done so well with that program that we've expanded it to all states. So for room and board, which is your residence hall and your meal plan, plus tuition and fees, which refers to the cost of your classes, for one academic year, you are looking at $21,861, which is extremely competitive with students who are looking for the experience of living on campus as well as managing a full-time load. Scholarships. Some of my families look at those numbers and say, wow, Clarissa, that's great. You're less expensive than this school or this other school that I was looking at, but my family does not have $21,861. And some families say, we have that, but are there any other scholarships that we could be eligible for? When you are admitted to Eastern Michigan, we will automatically consider you for our highest scholarships. If you are a student who's earned a cumulative GPA of a 3.5 GPA and higher, as well as a 25 on the ACT, or a 1200 on the SAT. At our university, we require the GPA and one of the two test scores. Then you would be invited to compete for one of the 21 full ride scholarships that we award each year. You must be admitted to the university with this information prior to November the 1st in order to be invited. If you are a student who is a little shy of that and you've earned at least a 3.0 GPA and higher, as well as a 20 on the ACT or a 1030 on the SAT, you could be eligible for one of two scholarships. Our forward scholarship is for students who are not Pell Grant eligible, have earned the GPA and test score, and agreed to live on campus all 4 years. Those students would be offered a scholarship where Eastern Michigan will pay for your freshman year, your family will pay for your freshman year and sophomore year. Eastern Michigan will pay tuition and fees for your junior and senior year. And again, you must live on campus all 4 years. If you are Pell Grant eligible, which you'll learn from your FAFSA, you would be offered our Education First Opportunity Scholarship, in which our university will pay for all of your classes, all 4 years of your education at Eastern Michigan. However, your family would be responsible for room and board. Lastly, any student who is admitted to Eastern Michigan University will receive anywhere from $2,500 to $8,000 automatically based on the information you provide in your application, meaning your transcript as well as your test score, which can be the ACT or SAT. If you are interested in learning what your automatic scholarship award amount will be, please text us the year that you graduate to the number 467-467. Again, text the year you graduate. So if it's 2020, 2020. If you are a rising junior, it would be 2022. And then we will go from there and sending you or collecting information from you that will allow you to learn what your automatic scholarship would be. If you are interested in applying to the university, we would like to have your application, a visit with us, and that can be virtual, your transcripts, and your test scores in order to apply. Now, that summarizes the prepared presentation that I have for you today, but I'm certainly happy to answer any additional questions that you may have.
All right, Clarissa, that's great. You provided us a wealth of information. I just have a couple more follow-up questions with you, if you just don't mind for a minute. We talk a little bit about the dates and timing for scholarship. There was at one point, there was always an application deadline, and then some schools are moving that to a roaming deadline, roaming application. How is Eastern Michigan handling dates and times, and is there any adjustments for this time period that we have now?
Great question. So our university does offer rolling admission. And so students can submit an application to us for admission all the way up until the day that classes start, the semester of the day that classes start. However, if students are interested in being considered for the highest scholarship awards, and they are a high school student that is transitioning to us their freshman year, we do encourage students to have their application in by November the 1st, especially a student who has earned a cumulative GPA of a 3.5 and higher and a 25 on the ACT or a 1200 on the SAT. Once the November the 1st deadline has passed, unfortunately, even if a student meets that criteria, they would be unable to compete. So we do encourage students to prepare their best information early so that you can be considered for the highest scholarship awards that we offer.
Okay, that's perfect. Clarissa, we know that, and I'm sure with all of the students that you work with, that we have a large contingent of students that are first generation. This is the first time that they've been going to college, being able to navigate this whole, application scholarship thing. The parents are not familiar with it too. At Eastern Michigan, when a student applies, is there anybody that's going to be there with them to help walk them through this process to not only apply for the scholarships that you have available that they could have missed, but for the other plethora of scholarships that we know that are out there that go unused every year?
So I too was a first generation student and entering college, so I definitely understand that journey. And one of the best things that I learned over time, especially being in this professional role, is that it's so important that our 9th and 10th graders start to explore. If you believe that you are college bound, 9th and 10th grade years are the years to figure out if you like big schools, little schools, far away, close to home, faith-based, public, private, the whole list, and just kind of ask those questions and visit as often as possible. Then by the junior year, I always advise my students, especially my first generation students, that there's 2 really big things that you should focus on. First is taking whatever tests is preferred by the colleges that you've created as a short list for yourself. So if you know that out of the 10 schools that you are really interested in, 8 of them prefer the ACT, take that ACT at least twice in the junior year. So I really strongly encourage students to take the test twice in their junior year. And that may be something that you'll have to go to your guidance office and really advocate for yourself to be able to do. Sometimes it's offered, and sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And so you have to say to someone, that's what you'd like to do in order to prepare yourself to be positioned for these scholarships. The second thing that I encourage students to do in their junior year is to visit. I know many of us may have limitations with transportation, but if you have a friend that's driving a car in the direction of a school that you're thinking about, if it's okay with your parents, jump in the car, go with them. As many schools as you can expose yourself to in your junior year, it's really critical, because that's when you learn if you like more of a faith-based experience, or if you're able to get to a school that's farther away, or do you need something that you can get to the bus on. So I really encourage our students in the junior year to take advantage of that. And then by the senior year, all trying to rope back to your original question about how to prepare yourself best for scholarships. By your senior year, hopefully you've narrowed yourself down to your dream school, the school you think you'd like to go to, and then the school that is kind of your shoe-in. If all else fails, I know I'm college bound, I can go to this school. And you've identified what that list of schools are for yourself, and you're applying as early as you possibly can. Colleges and universities oftentimes don't take the step of awarding a scholarship until you've been admitted to their university. So it is really important that you have given us your best information so that someone like myself can say, oh, this person has given us some information that they have an interest in our school. They've met me at least a quarter of the way. Let me come to the halfway mark and hold them by the hand to get us to the finish line. So I found that applying early with your best information is the best way that a college admissions person like myself knows that you're interested in their university, and they can point you in the direction of where scholarships are available.
Okay. Clarissa, one of the things that worked in our family, and I'm glad that you talked about that in the 9th and 10th grade and getting students started early, because that's one of the things that we did. My daughter found out that she, instead of following her mother, she decided that at a career fair, she was interested in ROTC, and we had been working on that from the 8th grade. And so then we had a definite plan. Is ROTC an option at EMU?
Yes, it is. We actually have the Army ROTC, which is housed right on our campus. However, down the road is the Naval ROTC, which umbrellas the Navy and the Marines. And then there's the Air Force. They're located in Ann Arbor. And so you can be an EMU student and participate in all branches of military ROTC if you're interested.
Okay, all right then. All right. Not doing do all. When we talk about the student life on campus, tell me what the residence hall look like. Is it a quad? Is it like, you know, two-to room? Do they have, you know, some of the colleges have fancy suites. They got Starbucks downstairs or whatever. What does residence life look like at EMU?
So our university, for our first year students, so I'm sorry, let me backtrack. If a student is interested in on-campus housing, they would complete an application that would include a checklist that's very similar to eHarmony, where students will say, I go to bed early, I stay up late, I study the music, I study in silence, I like groups, I like no company, just all these different things about your preferred living style. And based on a student's preferences, we will match you with someone that is similar. If a student comes to campus and says, I am going to live with Dr. Dorsey. She and I are first year students. Dr. Dorsey will write down my name. I'll write down your name. We submit our housing applications near the same time and we can live together. So we do allow those of the same gender to live in the same residence room together. If you are someone who says, you know, I'd rather just live with someone that I do not know and go through that process, we found that the roommate matches oftentimes are more successful than living with our friends because for all a number of reasons. But we've learned over time that that service is something that students really have learned to enjoy. Our first year center is designed where you'll have 2 people in this room, 2 people in another room joined by a bathroom. And so most of our first year students are living in an arrangement that looks much like an H, if I were to describe it, where you've got two individuals on each side of the H in the bathroom joined in the center. We also offer 1 residence hall that has community bath. So if you'd like someone else to clean your bathroom twice a day, we do offer someone that does that for you, but there's only 1 residence hall that has that community bath option. If the student is in the Honors College and has earned a 3.5 GPA or higher, or just not in the Honors College, but wants to live around other students who are also high academic achievers, we do have the Honors Residence Hall option for students as well. So there's a number of different styles, including on-campus apartments as you graduate into higher levels, or as you graduate up from freshman year to sophomore year and so on and so forth. So lots of different housing options for students.
Okay, all right, perfect. I know that we were talking about, and I just want to reiterate this again, is that making sure that we've got, that when school comes back, we're looking at on-campus classes, online campus, or hybrid of the 2. Just reiterate that just one more time for me.
Yeah, our university, given the pandemic, has made the decision to go to, we're still going to have face-to-face classes. However, we'll have sanitation units. We will have a longer time period between classes so that we can also clean our classrooms. We will also have a requirement of face masks in order to go to campus. We are truly trying to move into reacclimating ourselves to the type of campus that we had previously, but safely. So that's a little bit about COVID. And I'm sorry, I don't feel like I completely answered your question. Can you repeat your question one more time?
No, you did, because we were looking at whether we were going on campus or hybrid or a combination of the 2. So yeah, you did answer the question.
Thank you. But I will also add that we will offer some online courses. That's not the majority of our courses. And so some of those that have in the past been offered as online will be available to students, but the majority of them will be face-to-face as they were before.
Okay. Just reiterate again, in case I missed it during the presentation, what is our student to faculty ratio so we know what the size of our average classroom is?
Oh yeah, our faculty to student ratio is 18:1. Our average classroom size is about 25 to 30 students. We do have two classrooms on campus that can seat up to 100 students, but given social distancing requirements, we of course are not going to have 100 students in any classroom on our campus. But we have the capacity for that in a couple of our classroom buildings.
Okay, all right. Listen, I think that, there was one other question. We talk about your varied student body and that we have them from all over the country, whatever. Is there a study abroad program? And can you tell me if you have that and where some of the places that the students could actually use to do that? A lot of schools have them. I've been so interested in that.
We have 42 countries that we routinely go to for study abroad programs. So if a student is interested in any study abroad opportunity, whether or not it was just during a winter break or a summer break, or if you'd like to go for the length of a full semester, we have different types of study abroad opportunities that are available to students. If there is a country that you have interest or that a student has interest in, that is not listed in those 42 countries that we go to, we just invite that student to find 3 other students that are also interested in that area. They will work with the professor who likes to travel or staff person like myself. I'm always trying to get away as well. And we will create that opportunity for you. As long as the country is not a place that's in civil unrest, then more often than not, we can make those arrangements for a student that has found 3 other students that also want to go.
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, Clarissa, I think that is my time is up, that I have allotted to be able to ask questions, and I think I've asked everything that I need to do. So I'm gonna leave it up to you. One final word to our students and parents. And then provide maybe your information again so that they know that they can find you all over the country unless they're in Michigan. Okay.
Exactly. I just really want to to leave families with this one thought. I shared earlier on in the presentation how important it is to start early. If a student is college bound, start early in understanding what the options are for your student, and how important it is that our parents participate in the process, even as we are leading up to graduation day. And so I invite all students and families to come to our campus to visit with us, whether or not it's during a pandemic and we have to be virtual, or ideally actually planting your feet on the campus that you are thinking of, because what I've learned is that there is nothing like a visit to let you know if you can call a place home for the next 4 years or not. There's just a feeling that you get beyond an admissions person that will let you know, this feels right. I can see myself coming back and forth for Thanksgiving or winter break from this location. And there are some times when you visit a campus and you learn very early on, there's no way I'm letting my mom or dad leave me here. And the parents may also have those same feelings. So I encourage students to visit as many opportunities as you can and be in touch with the admissions advisors so that they can support you financially with scholarships that you can be eligible